The 2026 Summer Game Fest Showcase just ended. There were honestly some decent titles revealed. New MMOs, new RPGs, new open world games, new survival games, expansions, DLC. What I want to do today is to just go through, I think there are roughly about a dozen different games here, detail what they are, when they're expected to release, what platforms they're releasing onto. These are the games that I'm most excited for. Some of these I wasn't expecting, some of them I was, some of the games I was hoping for ultimately ended up being skipped, but based off of this list, we have quite the upcoming year. We're going to start this off with Final Fantasy VII Revelation. This is the third and final chapter of Square Enix's Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy. It wraps up the story with Cloud's party facing Sephiroth and then the Meteor Crisis in a bigger, more open world with full aerial exploration. I was actually kind of surprised. The ability to pilot your airship and then just jump out of and then slowly glide down to any point beneath you, being able to seamlessly transition between your airship and then to the ground. Admittedly, I have not played any of the Final Fantasy remakes up until this point, the 7 remakes specifically, because I was waiting for the third one to come out. It is confirmed to be releasing in spring 2027 out of the PS5, Xbox Series XS, PC, and the Switch 2, which means that I'll finally be able to play the trilogy from beginning to end. Stellar Blade Blood Rain is the official sequel to the 2024 action game Stellar Blade. It introduces a new protagonist, EVA, while keeping the stylish, fast-paced action combat and the sci-fi vibe intact. It is still in early development and there is no release window yet, but I really enjoyed Stellar Blade. I loved the gameplay, I loved the voice acting, I loved the character models, and I have a working relationship with Shift Up, the people that do Stellar Blade, due to me having a gacha channel and one of my main gacha games being Nikke, the gacha game that Shift Up actually developed. Swords of Legends is an action-adventure RPG. I want to also quickly preface this by stating this is not the MMO Swords of Legends Online that shut down, that was published by Gameforge. This is an action-adventure RPG hack-and-slash game inspired by Chinese folklore and mythology. It features flashy combat, boss fights, including theatrical Conjuring-style encounters, and a spirit companion system. There is unfortunately no release date yet, but based off of what we saw, they're probably pretty far through the development process. This was a beautiful game and I cannot wait to play it, especially after having played Where Winds Meet and then having played more recently Honor of Kings World. The Wolf Among Us 2 is the long-awaited sequel to Telltale's noir fairy tale adventure. Bigby Wolf returns with a 2027 release window. A remaster, if you haven't played the original game of the original game, is also coming later in 2026 to refresh players' memory of all the events that happened. Palworld 1.0 is officially releasing. This is probably one of the biggest releases of the decade. Palworld, not Palworld 1.0. This peaked at I think almost 2 million concurrent players over on Steam and is essentially the replacement for Pokemon. It is a creature collection survival game, and it's finally, after years, exiting early access. It is going to bring polished content, new areas, and a proper launch experience. It releases fully on July 10th, 2026 onto PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. Monster Hunter Wilds Ascendance is the first major expansion for Monster Hunter Wilds. It is going to add Sky Islands, new flight mechanics, master rank hunts, and classic Elder Dragons. It is slated to launch in 2027 onto the PS5, Xbox Series XS, and PC. The Blood of Dawnwalker is a dark fantasy open world action RPG from Rebel Wolves. This is comprised of many ex-Witcher 3 developers. It features day and night cycle gameplay shifts. You are a normal human by day and then you gain supernatural powers at night, along with time-sensitive quests. The first chapter officially launches on September 3rd, 2026 on PC, on PS5, and the Xbox Series XS. I'm actually kind of excited for this one too. I love the aesthetic of it, and I like the fact that it actually has a finite story cycle, like a set number of days will pass, and then by the end, the entire game ends. Yo, I don't mean to interrupt the video, but I need to take a moment here to thank all my incredible patrons over on Patreon whose support continues to allow for me to do regular videos like this every single day on this channel. Thank y'all so much, including our YouTube channel members. You guys mean the world to me. So do you guys as viewers as well. Now, without further ado, let's continue. Lords of the Fallen 2 is a sequel to the 2023 Souls-like. It brings improved combat, executions, co-op, and Unreal Engine 5 polish. It launches in fall 2026 simultaneously on PC. It is going to release onto Steam on day one, onto PS5, and onto the Xbox Series XS. 1666 Amsterdam is a new dark story-driven action-adventure game from Patris, I'm not even gonna bother trying to pronounce that word, the co-creator of Assassin's Creed. You play as Noah with witchcraft powers, fighting demonic entities in 17th century Amsterdam, with a companion who sees the world as a cat. There is a playable prologue demo right now. Early access is slated for 2026 on PC, and I actually think this looks kind of good. I haven't played a good Assassin's Creed game in what I feel like is years and years, but I like the witch aesthetic of this game, and I honestly look forward to trying it out. It's kind of like a Assassin's Creed if it were a coven of witches. RuneScape Dragonwilds is an open-world survival crafting spin-off from the RuneScape universe. It is currently in early access on PC. I played it with my wife, Mrs. Sticks, along with my sister Wiggy and my sister Wiggy's husband Eve. We all had a ton of fun. We spent several dozen hours into it, finished it, and oh god, was it good. The game features skill progression, base building, full co-op, and dragon raids. A full 1.0 launch is confirmed for September 15th, 2026 on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series XS. Guild Wars 3, I think this is the big one right here, is the next mainline entry in the long-running MMORPG series. It is an action-adventure MMO set as a prequel roughly 1,000 years before the original in the wilds of Or, with fluid movement and spirit-bonding themes. It is coming to PC and PS5. Beta signups are currently open. There are big plans for 2027, and then a full release probably at some point in 2028 is what I'm speculating, but they haven't confirmed that yet. Blood Message is a cinematic single-player action-adventure game from NetEase. It is being developed by 24 Entertainment's Linon Studio. It is set during a historical Chinese uprising. You play as a messenger and his son on a perilous journey. It is Unreal Engine 5 powered, has full melee, stealth, and survival elements. Unfortunately, there is no release date yet, but I am eagerly anticipating it because it is very much so a style of game that I like. Gen Atlas is a new game from Fumito Ueda's studio Gen Design, the creator of Ico and Shadow of the Colossus. This is a single-player, open-world action-adventure game where you play as a robotic protagonist exploring an abandoned planet filled with colossal mechanical structures. I loved Shadow of the Colossus, and based off of the trailer, it's going to feature the same kind of enormous, monolithic, gargantuan, incised, climbable, scalable structures, creatures. This is going to be so much fun. You can wishlist it right now. It is going to release onto PS5, Xbox Series XS, and PC via the Epic Games Store. Steam is not confirmed at present. Resident Evil Veronica is a full modern remake of the classic Resident Evil Code Veronica. It has been retitled simply Resident Evil Veronica, and it follows Claire Redfield's story with updated Resident Evil engine visuals, modern controls, a restructured narrative. It launches in 2027 on the PS5, Xbox Series XS, PC, and Nintendo Switch 2. And finally, Aion 2 is NCSoft's sequel to the classic aerial combat MMORPG Aion. It launched successfully in Korea and Taiwan in November 2025 and features updated graphics, new classes, expanded endgame systems, while keeping the signature flying combat and faction warfare. The global version, the PC version via Steam with regional servers, is slated for release in September 2026. However, from what I've heard, it is egregiously pay to win, and I'm hoping that doesn't transfer over to the global version. And those are all of the games that I think really stood out at the Summer Game Fest. These are the games I'm looking forward to, and these are the games that I'm sure you guys are looking forward to now too. I know you think that you just hit the end of the video, and technically, yeah, you have. And I know your first reaction is to close out of it at this juncture, but don't. No, instead, I urge you to take a moment here and click one of the videos on screen that are coming up in just a moment so you remain up to date with everything going on in the gacha genre. Trust me, you're not going to regret doing so. Stay flaccid.